can come up on stage. It's here. So Aviv Marom is, oh, sorry about that. Too many papers. So Aviv Marom, thank you. He's a strategy director of, at Samsung and a robot theme owner. Aviv is an ex-8200 8200. Has a BSc, Bachelor in Electrical Engineering, and an MBA in Business Management. 6 years at Audio Codex as a product marketing strategic business analyst, and 11 years at Samsung Research. He's heading the corporate development activities for Samsung Research in Israel, from strategic technology collaboration between Samsung Research in Korea and local industry and academic players. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. So thank you for having me. I'll start by a short introduction. So, but I think we already kind of did that, so I'll skip it fast. Basically, proud father for Yuval and Noam, and as advised, currently I'm heading specifically the corporate development for Samsung Research, where we basically focusing on fostering technology collaborations with startups, from the POC stage all the way to strategic investment. And same goes for the academy, where we do sponsored research. A little bit about Samsung Research Israel, the organization that I'm coming from. So we talked about myself, but actually we are a team, several parts, that each of us are working with a specific stakeholder in the corporate level. Myself with the Samsung Research Organization that I'll discuss shortly, but also we're working with the actual business units, the mobile, in charge of obviously phones and wearables, visual display, mainly the TV, and SDS, which is more targeting cloud and infrastructure. And we also have Samsung Ventures, which are part of our group. A little bit about Samsung Research. So very fast, basically Samsung Electronics, we have 2 CEOs and 1 governing the device experience, so-called all the business units that you can see underneath. And Samsung Research is basically the CTO office, corporate development, R&D, has a lot of R&D competencies which outside the BU, and then a lot of incubation of technologies for all of the various business units that you can see here are being done or responsible under the Samsung Research R&D. We here talk about robots. So again, what I can say basically is everything is public. So, you know, we are under multinational corporation. There are a strict policy about that. But actually, some of the robotics activities were already demonstrated in several years now in the CES, and also specific PRs about that. And vision-wise, we want to go and develop a true companion. Currently, as discussed by Vlad, we are not really there. And the idea is basically to do that with all the relevant components, whether it's software-based, which is obviously the underneath. We have under the hood, you have a lot of research under the HRI and design, as well as the hardware side, from the sensors. And I'll touch base on that, but we're targeting consumer. So everything should be in very, very small numbers if we want to achieve a mass market. Specifically in Samsung, we have at the moment, this is why I use the borderline, we have the robot vacuum cleaner. The most update version model is Bot AI, which, as announced, has also some HRI capabilities, trying to create a connection with the households, also have pet monitoring capabilities, and the rest are basically still under the hood, under the research stage, although we have been demonstrated them over the past few years in the CES shows. From the exoskeleton to the right, all the way to different manipulation form factors targeting home environments or bot retail, which are targeting more B2B. And actually, as announced by the CEO of Device Experience that you saw a few slides back, basically what he envisioned is really become a company that provide life companion robots. This is our goal. This is what we are aiming to. But for now, we have this little toy. Moving next. So actually, I have here a nice video, but I'm not sure if it will work. I will give it a try. Just a few words before. Actually, this is not Samsung Moonshot project. This is coming from JST. I did this analysis a few months back, and basically it's a Japanese research organization, and what they envision is basically a robot that does not function for a specific task, for a specific purpose. It evolves and it learns, and it's actually growing with us depending on the different stage, from the kids phase all the way to when we actually coming to work and is like our assistant, but real assistant, not just GPT. But you know, maybe I'll give you afterwards a chance to view the video. So as mentioned, the purpose of the way that the Japanese Research Center saw it, they're actually looking how the robot is taking more and more activities in our day-to-day, and they're looking at one robot that can actually facilitate many tasks. So going a few steps back, that was the moonshot. What we're having today. Today, most of the home robots that I've been searching, basically doing kind of repetitive tasks, very limited flexibility, limited cognitive intelligence. And I took here several examples. I think that the LEQ, if you haven't heard about them, from Intuition Robotics, is by far very impressive proposition, but still it's, you know, it serves a very specific and purpose of assisting elderly, specifically the ones that are staying alone. And then came the emergence of collaborative robots, so-called cobots, but still they are lacking the cognitive intelligence to facilitate an interaction, a natural interaction with humans. And actually, if you ask HRI people from the academia, usually they will tell you this is basically the main challenge, the interaction with the and the expectation from us, the humans, towards a robot that eventually will have a very set of limited functionalities and capabilities. So the next evolution is basically would be a general purpose, highlighting the general purpose cognitive robots. And what we see here is that most likely, based on, if you're following the news, the main application to start with would be around factories and production facilities. And then from there, I guess as technology will mature safety-wise and cost-wise to become mass production, it will eventually go to direct-to-consumer. And the three main applications that everybody's talking about them is obviously the facilitating a different task at home, automation of task at home. And Vlad was touching based on cleaning. Another cluster is around elderly care. And actually, if you go to the JST and then the moonshot, they are going to have a huge problem, and government are spending a lot of money how to, as the population is decreasing, there will nobody be able to treat the elderly. So they are counting about some sort of a robotic form factor that will assist as the population will grow up. And we have the third bucket, which is around retail. Some of the challenges. First one is basically the ability to continuous learning. Today, what we have in the market, we have 3 minutes. Are you kidding me? I've been having fun. Okay, so today is whatever you deploy at the market, pretty much this is the functionality that will end up. And the discussion is how can we make a product that will actually can learn different skills on the go while he's there. Talk about next one is the perception. Obviously, to interact with human, you need a lot of sensing from auditory, tactile, and visual. And last one is the acceptance. And I touch based on it a little bit, the comfortable to work and interact with the robot. I'll skip that in terms of time constraint, but basically there's a lot of motivation going on towards a human-like robots. Talking about form factor, today they are not so-called humanoid, and there is a lot of discussion about, obviously with the recent announcement of Tesla, you know, whether or not human-like robot are the next thing or not. So I gave here a little bit motivation about why actually it's a good direction to test it. And then with that, basically I analyzed and wanted to share basically, you know, what would be, whether or not a true killer app, what type of application would they want? Obviously from application specific to a humanoid robot, general purpose that actually can function many facilitate many functionalities. And one of the major issue is the uncanny valley, which until a certain point you grow empathy, and then you start getting actually the opposite repulsion towards the robot, because it's actually something wrong there from the experience. Mecha is actually a very good example for that. From my experience, facilitate I don't know, with those 12 actuators in the face, many behaviors, but it's scary, and I think they're still missing there the context of the word with the face impression. But then you have a very nice example of this Anki that can actually simulate different behaviors just by changing the light structure of representing the eyes of the robot. So the uncanny is a must challenge that need to overcome if we want to facilitate cognitive robots. And last, before I finish, so I actually it's coming from my my analysis. So I listed up here different humanoid robots that are currently in the market, but guess what? Many of them are actually research platform with costs that are actually, except Tesla, which was indicating under 20K, but the rest are very research market and very costly in terms of price to the end user. So none of them will be, or very few of them, perhaps Tesla and will have the envision to go towards a consumer application. That's my last slide, and basically, I think that pretty much what I mentioned before, robotic lifestyle would be the future. Some of them saying 2025, some of them saying 35, but starting from the factory and then go towards the consumer. Humanoid robot, it's a question. Not sure it would be the first form factor generally available or not. We talked about the evolution, and we see a lot of the companies here that we perceive as software, not related to robot, and investigating a lot of research. And I've been investigating the different research they did. Dexterous and many others, obviously the connection to the LLM, etc. So many of those organizations, multinationals, are targeting also robots. That's it for me.
Thank you, Aviv. There is a time maybe for one question if someone has. So the video, well, we don't have the time for that, so I'm sorry, but your question here? Start us off.
Both handy. Research phase. This is what I can tell you at this point. It's still in research phase. By the way, I think there was an announcement. There was Samsung Developer Conference. It's a yearly conference, and they mentioned that they uploaded to the Git all the coding of the hand manipulation, so the community can play with it and develop application on top of the hand manipulation part. So it's on Git based on SDC, this Samsung Developer Conference.
Okay. Thank you very